1 second. Alright. And away we go. Here we go. Man, welcome back to another show. As always, it's your boy B, and I got my main man P with me as always. How you doing?
Happy New Year's and happy holidays and happy Hanukkah and happy Kwanzaa and
Yeah,
all
all that good stuff, man. All that
all
good
that good
stuff,
stuff.
man. But we got a topic today. It's more of a serious note. We something that you see a lot of, but we don't really speak of it. So today's topic is about why do black women struggle more with domestic violence situations, and for that reason, we got a special guest on for today's show. She herself is a black woman. We want to welcome Miss Nicole to the show.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
We doing wonderful. Happy New Year. Well, it's pre-New Year Eve. It's the
Yes.
New Year Eve. But man, today, like we said, man, we want to touch on this topic today because what a lot of people don't know, a lot of women deal with a lot of domestic violent situations in America, but black women tend to have a harder time with it, and a lot of times, if you really notice, like once a week, once or twice a week, you'll see a story come across the social media platforms where a black woman loses her life to her abuser. They say black women are like 2 to 3 times more likely to die at the hands of their abusers than their white counterparts. And I'm gonna start with you, Nicole. When you hear something like that, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, I first think about what happened. I wonder how she died or how she got killed. And then, you know, you think, well, why did she stay? But you can't judge anybody for that. So, I push past that. But it really is a question of why this continues to happen, and why it's becoming more common. Maybe it's just reported more often. We have social media and all those things. But why is it happening, especially in our community? And why is it not talked about as much in our community?
Right. And what's your thoughts, Pete?
My first question is it a black versus white thing? Or is it a black versus all other races thing? When you said that black women were 2 or 3 more times likely than white women,
Right.
is that 2 or 3 times more likely than all other women? Or is it specifically white women? Is it
Nah, I mean,
what's the actual statistic?
the
Because you
stats,
got to think black women don't make up but so much of the population. Period.
and that's right.
So
They
by the
make up.
time you skew the numbers, I can skew the numbers any which way, and I'm not taking away from the fact that they're killing our sisters.
Right.
I'm not telling you that at all. But I'm just saying, once you compare 100,000 white women to 5,000 black women, or however the number goes, I mean, is it as really as bad as we're saying?
Nah, it's
Or is it
bad.
a statistic that's... Think about this. They always told us when it comes to statistics, look at who did the study.
Right.
Because whoever the person that did the study, the statistics going to skew in the direction that they want the statistics to skew.
True.
The cigarette people going to tell you that, nah, there ain't that many people dying. The people that's running the government going to tell you stop smoking because it's 1 out of every 10,000 people dying. So it's about your statistics and who's running them. and I'm not taking away from it. I know a lot of black women need to shut the hell up, but at the same time, I can't say that based on the statistic that you
Right.
gave me if I can't see it versus the statistics of all other women. Because are we saying that Indian women, Chinese women, Haitian women, Puerto Rican women, Mexican women, are they all not getting beat as much as black women compared to white women, or is it compared to all women?
Well,
So
I
it's
say
just kinda
this.
fun.
I say this. They say black women make up 8% of the population, but they're like a quarter of all the domestic violence deaths
In the
out
whole
there
country.
in the whole country. So I
That's
don't
a
necessarily
tough
know.
ass.
I don't know if that's on a race base. I don't know where that breaks down as far as white, black, Chinese, Asian, whatever. But they only make up 8% of the population. They 25% of all the murders and shit that happen due to a domestic situation. Now I say this, it's a terrible stat, but I think it deals. It has to go all the way back to the Willie Lynch. I mean, it goes way back because number one.
I blame it all on Willie Lynch.
Yeah. I mean, but you gotta think how it messed us up. You know what I'm saying? Because
You
now,
know, I blame it all on Willie Lynch, B, so you ain't doing nothing but preaching to the choir.
yeah,
I'm with you.
because if you really read the Willie Lynch letters, you will see what they told, or
They laid out a plan,
yeah, a
and
plan.
all of it comes to fruition.
Right.
When you see the people doing the division that they created, the
Right.
separation that they created, not only amongst the black man and his woman,
Right.
but amongst the different shades of the black people.
Right.
Period.
Right.
It's
Right.
vicious and tough.
It is,
so
man.
To read that Willie Lynch and
That
see
shit
the
real.
society now, it's all just part of their plan.
Right.
And I tell you, I blame it all. Whenever it come back, it all come back down to Willie Lynch.
That's true. Because it says in the papers that we're gonna create we're gonna make it so the woman is dominant. Because you really think about it, we the only race that really have that type of
Relationship with our
hierarchy.
woman.
Yeah. Like we have a matriarchal hierarchy to our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like women are in charge in the black community. Like you don't go outside any other race except Black America, where the woman's in charge. So when you and the Willie Lynch papers put all this in play, and they said that we're gonna make the men submissive. We'll make the woman dominant so she can make the man submissive.
But see,
You know
the
what I'm
problem is we did it
Right?
because we continue that.
We don't know no better.
Nah, I ain't even talking
It's
about
not
knowing any
fair.
better. We continue that.
Right.
We consistently set ourselves up for that position. When you lay down with this woman unprotected and had this baby by this woman, and now y'all can't be together because y'all was never meant to be together in the first place.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We did that. When your daughter or your son's being raised by a mother that you never see, first of all, y'all wasn't even supposed to never even been together.
Right.
You did, because you didn't love the chick, you didn't have fear, you was doing something, y'all had a baby. How many times do you know that situation and that circumstance? So that structure right there from the very beginning makes it where you can't even have the family structure.
Right.
Because I built a family based on something that's not even there in the first place.
So let me ask you, Nicole, when you hear what my man just said, do you think what is it about? Why can't we have families like everybody else? You know what I'm saying? Versus, because it's 70% of our kids are raised in single parent households. What about us, or why can't we have the family structure that other races have?
Well, I think it's many factors. Like both of you have said, part of it is our history. It was set up for that. And right now, we as women, if you're a single mother, you have no choice but to stand and keep going day to day with or without your husband or boyfriend or child's father or whoever. You still got to keep it moving. But part of it as well is the current situation of racism. When you go to work, you deal with racism. You deal with people's sexism. They're belittling you as a woman, as a black woman. You're on display constantly. If there is an issue that you stand up for yourself, suddenly you're the angry black woman. So when you come home, you try to assert yourself.
Right.
And that can be an issue with a man. He may not, to a certain extent, he may not appreciate you asserting yourself. You still have to know your place, as a woman. So between your issues that are happening in the world plus the man's issues are happening in the world, it's all working against you.
Right.
And instead of you working together, trying to figure it out together, you're fighting each other to gain that top spot. Because throughout your day, throughout your life, you're constantly fighting for that top spot, or even to be recognized. Not even a spot, but just to be recognized. So you come home and you fight.
Right.
And so as a result, those families are torn apart because it's partly pride, ego, culture. It's a whole lot that comes into play when it comes to the black family structure and the lack of it.
And so let me ask this though. Like I said before, 70% of our families raised in a single parent household. Do you think that contributes to the fact that if you never seen your parents together or you never seen your mother interact with a man, does that play a part in us not being able to communicate on a higher wavelength? Because there's a lot of people out here that never seen their parents with the person of the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? And it's people. I always say this, man. Visual aid and audio aid is a motherfucker. Like, you got to be able to see. You have to observe certain things to understand how it play out. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at white America, a lot of them have seen their parents and the dude, whether it worked out or if it didn't. They've had a chance to see that at some point. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if I've just seen my mother struggle by herself all her life, then yes, especially as a black woman, because we always and it's a whole nother topic, but how black women raise their daughters versus how they raise their sons is a whole nother thing too, because we're always pushing our daughters to be stronger and be equal to a man. You can do anything a man can do, you know what I'm saying? Which that can be detrimental when you up in especially if you got an insecure man that don't really know how to deal with you, because it all takes a secure man is going to put you in your place without having to lay a hand on you. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to know how to mentally deal with you versus somebody that has a lot of insecurities with him. So when you do you have any friends that have gone, or do you have any personal situations where you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I was raised in a single parent household. My parents were divorced by the time I was born. And so, yes, I grew up very strong, very determined, very stubborn. And it's gotten me far in life.
Right.
But when it came time for marriage became a on-the-job training. I didn't have any reference. Not saying my father was around, he was active in my life, but they weren't together, and my father was doing his thing, and so I saw that, but I never saw that positive husband and wife working together to keep this household straight. Right. So, like I said, it became on-the-job training, and I know a lot of people like that, where the girl in the family was raised to be strong, independent. You're managing everything by yourself, and then when you get out in the world, it helps you in certain areas, but it can hurt you in others. While the boys in the family, they're dependent on the family. Some were raised to be a strong man, while some were babied. Their mothers didn't want them to leave. They didn't want them to. They basically became a surrogate man in the house for the mother in one way or another. So they weren't really raised to be strong men with a family structure.
All right, cool. Let me say this though. When you look at social media today, man, you see a lot of videos of aggressive women, and we're in the era of girl power. When you think the era that we in, the atmosphere that we in right now, when you talk about, girl, go, you got Me Too. Let me ask you, P. You think this is something that's going to continue to escalate, or you see it plateauing at a certain point?
You mean the girl power movement?
Nah, I'm talking about this domestic violence type of movement. I mean, not the movement, but domestic violence in the girl power movement. You think we see more of this?
More of what?
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence never goes anywhere.
Yeah.
As long as human beings have to have relationships and interact with one another, you'll never be able to dismiss domestic violence.
Right.
Because it's not only a socioeconomic issue or background issue, it's a people issue. It's a mental stability issue. You got a nutcase as a husband, goddamn, what you expect to go on? You know what I'm saying? You got a wife that keep tripping what you think's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Especially she gonna do something, or you gonna, I mean, it's not just black and white. It all comes back down to what me and you always talk about, the mental illness. There's a lot of mental illness, and what you may perceive to be mental illness may not be diagnosed as mental illness. What you don't understand is this: most of us are mentally ill. It may be something so slight, something so to degree, but who's to say that that's not going to affect the other person you're having an interaction with? Some people are violent. Me personally, I feel like you shouldn't be able to put your hands on anyone else except for your child. And that's only in a disciplinary action, not to be abused.
Right.
Correction, that's for correction. No human being had a right to put their hands on nobody. My wife cussed me out, called me all type of names, and fucked my mother. I still don't have the right to put my hands on her. She didn't put her hands on me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You can defend yourself because nobody has the right to be abused.
That's
But
true.
at the same time, it comes back to the mental state of the human beings who are creating these acts. So as the mental capacity of human beings goes down, sure, domestic violence is going to go up.
Yeah.
As the socioeconomic problems incur, domestic violence is going to go up. There's an old saying that the man that comes home and kicks the dog is just warming up. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that.
Yeah, true that, man. But
Let me ask both of you.
What's that?
You both are black men, and I know my thoughts of black men at times. Do you think that black men are being raised to show other emotions besides anger? Anger seems to always be okay, but anger, like we're discussing, leads to domestic violence. Do you think that black men are taught or equipped to show other emotions besides the anger?
I'm gonna say this. I think it all depends on your security. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know you a man, then your woman gonna know you a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about this all the time. Respect is a big thing, man. If you a man that demands respect, is gonna be given, and you don't never have to put your hand on a woman. But I also think too is that we don't put real life. We always read a bunch of magazines and shit and books about how we should interact in our relationships. You know what I'm saying? This is one thing I like to tell everybody that's in a relationship. It's a rule that I actually use in my relationship, and it's called 4 shut the fuck ups. You have to give your significant other 4 shut the fuck ups a year, and it sounds crazy, but it works. That's 1 shut the fuck up a season. When you actually apply this, it could save you from a lot of domestic violence. It could save your relationship, because don't nobody want to hear you talking and yapping all the time. So if I tell you shut the fuck up, you have to agree to this with your person and say, when I say that, you have to be quiet. And a lot of times, most women will agree to 4. 5 could be considered verbally abusive. So 4 shut the fuck ups is a good point. And when I say shut the fuck up, you have to actually simmer down. And over time, like especially with black women, because they haven't been They haven't seen how to interact with one another. It takes a couple of times. Like the first time you tell her, shut the fuck up, she's gonna be like, who you talking to? And you gotta say, you agreed to this. And then she'll say, okay. And over time, 1 year, 2 years pass, you won't never have to tell her shut the fuck up, because she's gonna understand when it's time to fall back. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. I think it's all about a security thing. I think you have to apply real life situations to your relationship. You can't go off what Steve Harvey or Oprah or somebody else saying. I think you have to know who you dealing with. You have to do the work, the recon work to understand what you're up against. And what you say, Pete?
I think everybody needs to do what they need to do to handle their business. I think you need to know who you're dealing with when you get into these situations. When you get into a relationship with somebody, you need to understand who that person is. You need to understand what type of background they were raised. You'll be surprised at how the way we were raised in itself can cause a conflict between you and a relationship. And I'm not even talking about sexual relationship or man-woman relationship. I'm talking about interpersonal relationship. Just the fact that the way we were raised, the thing that you take as value, the thing that you take as negative, the thing that you take for prize, the thing that I take for shit, those things in itself can conflict with our relationship because we're not even looking at it the same way. You know what I'm saying? When you was mad about something, I didn't even ever see it how you even saw it because we weren't raised the same way. You know what I'm saying? So to me, your plan that you got with the 4 shut your fuck up, I can dig it if that works for you in your situation, because you also got to understand some people don't want to hear shut the fuck up. Some people need to hear shut the fuck up. You understand what I'm saying? Some people really literally can't live unless you cussing their ass the fuck out. Some people don't even want to hear it shut down, going to the corner, crawl up in the ball when you start cussing and yelling at them. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta know who you're dealing with. You gotta know the psychology of a human being. And it goes all the way back to a whole lot of different stuff. Because there are plenty of aggressive white motherfuckers. We're not going to sit here and talk that only black men are being bred to be aggressive. UFC, how many niggas is in UFC? You know what I'm saying? There's white people that's kicking me and each other in the face. They got a lot of aggression. Fight Club wasn't about black people. Fight Club was about white people.
Hey, but
the wars, the white man came to America and took over. It wasn't black people that did that shit.
Right.
So we're not the ones breeding the violence. It's the masculinity that's been misperceived that's breeding the violence. Because being masculine doesn't mean being violent. Being masculine is a total other thing that we've done shows about before. That's what this show we got right here is about. That's got nothing to do with me going home fat shit out my girl. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck I want to lay next to you black guy? And you're supposed to be my friend? Me and you are friends. I don't want to see you buried with a black eye no more than I should want to see the person I got to lay with every fucking night. You understand me?
And so there we have it, man. So
ain't nothing going on where I want to black your eye be. Unless you stole my money and fucked my girl, and I'm gonna have to come down there and black your eye. You know what I'm saying?
But let me add this though. Let me add this. Let me add this though, man. We about to white people will kill you. And when they kill these white dudes, will chop your ass up.
You will be in a bag.
Yeah, in the oil drum somewhere.
In counties away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm talking about. Nigga woke up and didn't like his family no more.
Right.
And called the police and told him, somebody came in. Oh my God, these things. You know what I'm saying? Black people ain't the only people. We're bred to violence. You know why? Because of poverty.
Right.
Poverty will always breed violence. Because if a man's hungry, he's going to eat. You're going to find a way to eat. It's survival of the fittest. That's the human nature.
And what one last thing, you got any last thing to say, Nicole?
I was just what he mentioned about poverty. I mean, lately, the high-profile cases have been just the opposite.
I agree.
The doctor in Chicago that was shot at the hospital by her fiance, or the judge in Detroit that had already caught a domestic violence case a few years back, ends up killing his wife. The surgeon in Texas was killed by her husband. So these are very successful women Do you think that that may have something to do with it as well? Like maybe
No,
the man
because
can't handle the success?
nah, what we just discussed was where did these people come from?
Right.
Because you can be successful and be a ghetto motherfucker.
That is
Just
true.
because you having a good time in life right now don't mean you didn't come from a fucked up place.
Right.
We
Right.
gotta go back
Right,
to
right.
the psychology of the human beings, and for me to give you an accurate answer for your question, I would have to know where all the three of those, all the four of those cases, where did those people come from? Who were their background?
Right.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if they the same ghetto motherfuckers we talking about anyway. They just happen to look up into a
Yeah.
financial windfall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I
I
understand.
mean, me,
that.
I just think is all about you. At the beginning, man, you know what type of dude you dealing with.
You think you do?
I think
You
most
always
women
talk about they
know.
keep talking about he changed.
Most women know what kind of dude they dealing with.
Some
from the
people can
very
put on a good
beginning,
game.
man.
Now,
Nah, you
some
can't.
people
You can't
put
for
on a
that
good
long.
game.
But that you
Nicole,
know,
I heard a million people say he changed.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean, one or two kids, maybe the first kid he could act, but one or two kids ain't no act no more. You know what you was getting into. But to the man, we about to move.
You know what she into. But else she ain't been paying attention.
You ain't.
And it's your fault.
And that's what I'm
You know saying?
talking
The
about.
first time nigga came home and kicked the shit out the dog,
Yeah.
you know your ass is gonna be fucking next.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And man, we gonna end on that note, man. But we about to move on to the PAS moments of the week. And what PAS stand for, Pete?
Man, people ain't shit.
Yes,
You
sir.
already know.
Already. This PAS moment of the week. This week's PAS moment of the week goes to this young lady here. A lot of people. This is Brittany Jones, and if you don't know her, let me give you a backstory. This is the same young lady that she caught a charge for basically sucking dick and fucking in the courthouse in Jacksonville, Florida. This is about a couple years ago. You understand? So what she's up to today, man? She's basically outing a bunch of celebrities. I guess that's the new thing for hoes to out people for actually trying to solicit their services. She's basically outing Trey Songz and Zach Brown's. He's a linebacker for my Washington Redskins, HTTR. But basically, when did this become a thing? Let me ask you something, Nicole. When you hear a story like this, man, how does that make you feel?
I mean, I don't feel no kind of way about it. You do your dirt. You do your dirt. I mean, the difference is these young girls out here spread the word. That's
Right.
you want to be a hoe, be a hoe. It's always been hoes around. You always do hoe things. That's fine. But nowadays, it's like, let me be famous
For being
for
hoe.
doing hoe shit.
Right.
Like, really?
And-
Don't do that.
And when did this become a thing where hoes can actually shame you for treating them like hoes? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? B, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of being stupid. You know what I'm saying? The whole fucking
Hey,
point
but
of our show is
Don't be stupid. You see it on the shirt. Don't be
You know what I'm
stupid.
saying? And stupid is stupid fucking does. So you're telling me that you know that this hoe got caught at the courthouse sucking dick, and your best bet is all the million other hoes in the world, let's go get this hoe? Go ahead, man. You get what you pay for.
But let me-
You never get what you pay for, but you always pay for what you get. And that's some bullshit.
Okay.
Because it's just like all the other people, your Shaquille O'Neals and your superheads. Why is you fucking the same person that he's fucking when it's a bill? You know how many women that you never even seen? You
Yeah.
got plenty of money. Why don't you go somewhere and get a woman you ain't never seen before?
'Cause
Your
that's
best thought
easy
is, I want the
access.
hoe that suck us a dick so we
Yeah.
can have the herpes together. They all got herpes. All they doing is passing herpes out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know you can't get rid of the herpes.
Yeah.
Man,
But they-
they're passing out herpes. They're stupid. And I don't. People ain't shit. He ain't shit.
But she ain't
but
shit
he
neither, man. Because you a hoe, Slim.
She a
Look,
hoe.
she
They
a hoe.
stupid. Why is you fucking hoes when it's our hoes to fuck?
I'ma
It's
tell
all
you
the
why.
hoes, you know?
I'm gonna tell you why, Pete. I'm gonna tell you why. Because they putting whole shit out there. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, when you meet a young lady, you might have in your mind, like, damn, she might be a freaky bride.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually see a bride on the internet, this is what she do. She suck dick for a living. So she putting stuff out there for you to see, like, damn, she got that bomb ass shit.
Yeah, man, she got that bomb.
It's certified.
You know, I'm like, yeah, that nasty bitch, fuck.
Right.
DMX.
That exactly.
DMX got herpes.
Yes.
I heard last time.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
That's why it's stupid, because I don't care about that shit you talking about, because I can pay for some clean sex.
Right.
For a millionaire motherfucker,
Right.
I can go buy all the clean sex I want to buy.
That is
I
true.
can get bitches certified to be clean before they even come over here and put their mouth on my junk.
Right.
And they gonna do all the stuff I want. Why you fucking dirty hoes?
Because,
man,
man,
you're not gonna explain nothing to me that make you not gonna condone it for me. Because
Hey.
it ain't talking about me and you or Joe Blow. He ain't got no money.
Right.
It's talking about people that got some money. You can go buy yourself a high class hoe. But it's certifying hoes. Why am I buying the hoe that I know got the herpes from Usher?
because
what I'm
you know
saying?
what?
Don't even make sense.
Everybody want to be with the man. You know what I'm saying? Dudes want
I'm
to
the
be.
man.
But no, it's the same thing.
It's
It's the same thing. Dudes is groupies too, man. You know what I'm saying? You understand?
Stupid.
Yeah. And the
people
only
ain't shit, and it's the dude and the broad.
Right.
And that's why people ain't shit.
but the only difference is that when it comes to a woman that has some notoriety, it often has to deal with sex. So niggas is groupies just like women are groupies. When women want money and power, dudes want a freaky bride. You know what I'm saying? And this is what becomes it.
chicks, man. But soon I had a real nasty, nice freak, man. One time, you dig what I'm talking about?
Right.
I found out she was fucking this person.
Had to cut it off,
I
man.
was disappointed as shit.
Yeah.
But it was what it was. I
Yeah.
know this person to be a nasty person, and if you get nasty with him as you getting with me, we can't even do nothing because
Because
we
you a
about to be
nasty
two
person, right?
motherfuckers. I
Right.
can't have that herpes. I've never had a cold sore or a fever blister. I've
Right.
never had that.
Nah.
So the first time I get that, I'm gonna go on an interstate killer spree for everybody that I even think or thought about even came in contact with that shit. Because I don't do nasty. I'm not nasty.
Hey,
So I
man.
don't like it.
Hey, I'm with you on that one, brother, man. But thank you, Nicole, for being the guest on the show, man.
You're welcome. Thank
For
you.
real. So, man, anytime you want to come back, man, we'll have you, man.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. Had a good time today.
Thank you. So until the next time we see y'all, man, y'all already know what it is. It's
Before you
PAS.
go, though, B, I would like to explain something for the people.
Okay.
Now, this is just my take on reality in life. Now, the PAS moment is not about the fact that my co-host and I feel that we're above the law or the standard of human beings.
Okay.
We are people just as much, if not more, than any of the people that we're talking about because we are people.
And let me add this.
Bottom line is that people ain't shit.
And we had
Now,
our
people
ain't shit
do,
moments
but
too.
But it's people, and I'm not above that. And I just
Right.
wanted to let y'all know. I don't want y'all thinking they on here casting judgment on people. No, we're not casting judgment on nobody.
Right.
We all people, and ain't none of us shit. Because by the law of nature, you co-designed from the very beginning to take care of yourself.
Right. And yes, and don't forget, man, we have ain't shit moments too. But innately, we good people, so that's all. Just be good out
Just try
here.
to be better.
Yeah, be
You know
better.
what I'm saying? I'm not taking up, just trying to be better.
And what this shirt say? Don't be stupid. All right, we about to start selling.
Y'all
Don't
fucking
the
nasty.
hashtag.
You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
be
If
stupid.
you know he got
shirts.
the herpes from Usher, why?
Yes.
Why you want some?
Yeah, because
Ugh,
I
nasty.
told you, man, dudes is groupies too. We got it,
Man,
and
so
that's
many other women.
it is. It's
Where did I
seven.
get my money, though?
What they say, man?
I'm going to Barbados.
What they
Get
say?
somebody living in the volcano.
It's 7-3 out here, man. Every man's supposed to have 2 women anyway. It's
I'm
7
gonna
to
get me
3.
2 chicks from Barbados.
Well, go
One
get
from
them.
Barbados and one
Hey,
from China.
like I said, go get them and give me some guy kids, man. I ain't forgot about that. But nah, back to it, man. We about to start selling the don't be stupid shirts. Cause that's, man, just don't be stupid. Most of this stuff can be avoided if you just don't be stupid, man.
Really though.
So until the next time we see y'all, man, don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Later.